Good morning sheep fans, Cammie's the name, sheep's the game, and today we're out scanning sheep. Now when I say scanning sheep I mean ultrasound pregnancy scanning to find out how many lambs are in them. This is another really interesting aspect of sheep farming that I'm sure a lot of you have never seen before, unless you've been watching this channel for a while. But we use this trailer, an ultrasound machine, I sit in there, and that's about it. Some warm soapy water, and we're away. It's an easy day today. We're going around 3 or 4 different farms with pedigree sheep, so it's a nice easy pace to explain things to you and show you a little bit of what I will be doing all winter. So let's get to the first farm. Our first stop of the day is with the Hodge Beltex team, who have some cracking pedigree Beltex ewes to scan.
It's a nice morning, isn't it?
We're scanning both the pedigree ewes and some recipient ewes here. The pedigree ewes were all naturally tupped, or if you're outside the UK, you may refer to it as being mated. The Beltex is a very muscular breed, and the rams are popular with commercial sheep farmers looking to produce a meaty prime lamb. And we have a nice body and head here. That's a head there. That's a body just underneath and holding just above here. There's a body here and a head above it. That's a set of twins. Just at the 70th day, it's just a perfect scanning time. Perfect stage of pregnancy for scanning. Once we get the purebred sheep out of the way, we had a handful of recipient ewes to do. Recipient ewes are sheep that have had a fertilised egg implanted into them, and they then act as a surrogate for that pregnancy. With these sheep, I am mostly just confirming if the embryo has held based on the size of the fetus, which of course tells me its age.
She's held. Single, yeah.
The embryos were all implanted on the same day, and most of them were singles, so it's a simple process for me, and thanks to it being first thing in the morning, the ewes are nice and empty, so it's a quick job, and then we're off to the next stop. Now the reason that we use these Scotch mules as recips, as I go on about all the time, is she's such a great sheep. She's a big sheep, she's a milky sheep, she can rear 2 lambs very easily, and she's really kind and a good mother. They basically look after themselves. Great way to produce a big strong pedigree sheep. She'll be a better mother than a Beltex.
Whoa! Wee bit! Just roll it back. I know, new pens! That'll do it.
Next up, we're scanning with the Hogarths, and what a solid looking group of sheep this is. This is a pretty large scale dairy farm in Ayrshire, and these sheep have no shortage of grass, so they're big, strong and probably quite full. So let's see how we get on. So I've got a bit of an issue. My cable that I usually use is bust, so I'm using my super long one for now. Always nice to have a super long one at your disposal. So we have an enthusiastic young team helping us push the sheep up today, which is great to see. Apart from Jordan there with the beard, he's actually quite old. So one thing with these sheep scanning compared to a lot of others is they're very fat and great fettle, but it means that you have to really push up with the probe to get through that. You're essentially going through a layer of fat sort of thing to see what you want to see. So that's a triplet. Another problem with learning to scan sheep is that the season's kind of backwards. You start with all the hardest sheep with the most lambs. So like this time of year we're doing big pedigree, Suffolks, Texels, Charlies, Swarbles, all things that are generally pretty fit and well looked after. And they're hard to scan because, as I say, they've got that sort of layer of fat. They've usually got a lot of lambs, so you really push, try to see what you can see. We'll do this little challenge then, we'll start making this a regular feature. I'll come through the pregnancy like that, and you guys have to tell me in the comments how many lambs this sheep has. There we go. What we're doing is we are blue for a single, no mark for a twin, which is what I would encourage all farmers to do because marking every sheep is a nightmare for the sheep scanner. And we have red for a triplet. Red on the back, red head is empty, hopefully we won't need it. And that's the system. Once I've decided what it is and I've marked her, I then use this little thing here, which is a tally counter. And that gives me a running total. I don't know if Graham can see on the top of the screen. So that tells us that at the moment we've had two singles, 12 twins, 4 triplets, and that's 18 in total so far, and they're sitting at 211%. Going very well so far, but always touch wood that it stays that way. Come on, lassie. Come on, lassie. Oh, she'll go Carmen. Come on, see me. It's just a probe, it's not a shearing handpiece, you're alright. This sheep has just decided she doesn't want to know how many lambs she's having, so she needs a gentle bit of persuasion to come into the crate.
Right, Carmen. What am I like?
Like the other swimmer's still going to boot, mate. Right, watch your turn, that.
She better be lamb after all that.
She is, she's a twin, hopefully she runs it now. There you go, lad. So this is like an interesting one, and certainly when you first start scanning, these are the kind of ones that are really quite difficult just to get quite right in your head, because often when you're doing these things, they're almost like they're in their own wee pockets. But this one is a 3, and the two of them are almost like right on top of each other. So when you first start, your brain's like, is that the same lamb? But as long as you keep your hand right and you go through the pregnancy properly. So lamb 1 over here is fine, we don't need to see it. But my body here, head, through to head, and the lamb 2. And the 2 lambs are in the same little pocket right on top of each other. So when you first start scanning, that's like one of the ones that you spend ages on. Usually you're moving your hand about all over the place like this. I take my hand off and then maybe you come back on in a different position. And all of a sudden the lambs are in a totally different place. So now I'm almost missing this lamb over here. And all I see is these 2 and I'd be like, oh no, it is twins. But actually there's a lamb here because my hand's in the wrong place. So as I come back on, now you see the body and the head somewhere. Find the head, if I give a wee push up, there's the head at the top there. Because I've just moved their belly over a bit to tighten it all up. And then these 2 lambs are back with us. So it is a 3, but that's just an example of one that would be really easy to get wrong when you first start. It's a doddle to scan later in the season, but this early stage, which is generally when you're learning when you start now in December, and you suffer. Your arm gets very sore, and you can tell the farmer that she's got 209%, which is wild. There was 1 empty, 6 singles, 37 twins and 13 triplets. Pretty amazing, aye, pretty good. And that is, I'll link that in nicely to the wee bit I do about talking about dairy farms with lovely grass and high scanning percentages. So that's bra, well done.
You want to say bye? Bye! Good. Bye!
It's not very often that I use time lapses on the pickup anymore. However, I thought some of you that aren't familiar with Scotland's roads may like to see some of the countryside that I'm passing through on the way to different jobs. So I'll try and feature a little bit of more of this in the vlogs to come. Our next job today is with Robin and her flock of Texels. Robin is fairly new into the sheep game and she has been growing her flock over the last 2 or 3 years. Robin has featured on the channel before because she actually helped me lamb my Shetlands this year. So now I'm here to scan her sheep and try and return the favour. Oh, I haven't even got a spray. You got a spray handy? I've got sprays in the back of the pickup. What colour do you want? I'll get Graham to grab it. This one here?
Aye.
Just as well we're scanning the day, yeah? You'll be feeding them, are you feeding them every day anyway?
No.
She's a twin, she's a wee bit later than the other ones. She's
She's
maybe
just stuck on her back this morning. But
right, no, just fit. You'll just start getting that now. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem when you're on a hill here.
well, I've never had a issue before.
Is that right?
Aye.
So we'll do this, another wee challenge one, Graham, if you want to get a good shot of that thing. So right, here's the next one. Answer in the comments. We'll make this letter B. How many lambs do we see here, if any? Do we see through this pregnancy? Let's go back through again. Stand by, I'll get you a better go. There we go, a wee bit extra gel. How many lambs have we seen there? There we go. I'll no shout it out, you guys just tell me. And don't look, I'm going to put a spray mark on her. No, I'm not. Just let her run. Or am I? Well, in fact, I'm not going to tell. Right, in fact, I tell you what, we had one empty, so right. Probably not. Depends how you look at it. Not as good as last year, technically, because I always judge it on the empties, not the percentage. But you had one empty, which I'll really go anywhere, and there's not at least one empty. Like just about always at least one that lets it down. 2 singles, 12 twins, 5 triplets. Oh, what percentage is that? Yeah.
Some.
Have a guess.
What way? Two singles.
2 singles, 12 twins, and 15 triplets. 5 triplets.
31? No, 31 or 36 lambs out of how many ewes are there? 20.
20. It's 205%. How many lambs did you work out there? 31. Hang on, I think you've got 50.
It's 200 and you're right.
Aye, it's over.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that's good. 205. Aye, it's not me, it's the computer. I'm just putting you on the spot. I couldn't work it out that fast. 205%, like pretty good going on Texels. And this, where I'm here, is right next door to the vlog I did with all the rushes and the snow. So this is pretty hard country up here. Like it's a hard place to have Texels. Usually they like the last place, that nice dairy grass. So it's hard to get the job right up here, so that's pretty impressive scan as well, actually, to be honest with you.
Well, we've got 70 to scan in about a month's time. 70 others.
Another 70 to do a bit later.
Aye.
See how they go. It's all downhill from here.
Aye.
That's bra. Right, we'll just get packed up and head to the final job of the day. Let's go. And we are at the final job of the day, and we're back with these Dutch spotted here at Turdoes. They are a fantastic breed. I like them. I really like them. They're shapy. I've told you all this before in a previous video. I'll put a little link up here. Fairly good skins and good size as well. They have that kind of, I said it before, they have that kind of Beltex shape about them, but with a wee bit more leg. They won't be as meaty as the Beltex overall, but they're pretty close, and they've got a good bit of size as well. And Matthew has some fantastic sheep. Now he's told me that this one here, we'll just show you some good shots of this here. This sheep here has just been bought at Carlisle sale for 3,000 guineas, so which is £1.05 per guinea, so 3,000 guineas for this sheep here. And she's a cracker, like really, really nice. Looks particularly special just now because she's been dressed for the show, so they've flattened her back a little bit, really accentuated the rear end to make it look as shapy as possible. But you can see it's a good sheep, or he wouldn't have paid that money for it. So fantastic sheep here. We've got a handful to scan. For those of you that might be thinking that he's putting the lambing back a little bit, I've already done most of his sheep, so I've just a wee group of about 20 or so later lambers to do now. So we'll get set up and get them through the trailer, and we'll get you some footage of the sheep as they go. See what you think of them. Let me know in the comments. Is your gate set up for the field, aye? She's a single. She'll be about 65 days. You get her number all right? Yep. Yeah. Ah, you'll count her anyway. Another big one. Fantastic big wide sheep though. You can see them there when they come into the crush. Like I've had to open this up. Just really, really shapy sheep. I can see why the prices are climbing. Like I definitely like them. I like all sheep, of course. Matthew's got into it at just a really good time. One of the first to get into this breed. I'm sure it's going to work out well for him because they're getting more and more popular all the time. So this is a single about 45 days. We're saying the ages of the lambs there. You're taking a cross section of the body here, and you basically line it up with these little circles up the top. So the inner circle there is 63 days, the outer circle is 84 days. So you need to just kind of guess. This is a 70-day circle. You just need to kind of, not guess, but you've got an example to use, a rough estimate of the dates that they're going to lamb. So I've said that one's about 45 days there. So this is a great example of when you start scanning. You can tell she's a young sheep just because everything's nice and clean and clear and like just really sharp images. So another thing about scanning is the younger the sheep is, the easier it is to scan as well. And I was told, and I don't know this to be fact, it's to do with, you know, there's less damage been done inside in terms of, you know, you get scar tissue, and you know, once I've had a few lambs, their uterus and that has been used a few times, you start to see some scarring and different things in there, whereas she's just nice, clean, crisp set of twins. All we're using here with the probe is this little bulb goes into my tank of warm soapy water, and as I press that, it puts fluid over the glass of the probe. Now the ultrasound waves won't travel through air, they have to travel through fluid. Me doing that just creates a little fluid connection between the probe and the sheep's skin, so that the ultrasound waves can travel through. So as we see here, as I was describing, she's been dressed out, so she's got a lovely back end. I mean, look at that. I mean, even me sitting here and I'm getting a wee bit excited just looking at it. It's absolutely beautiful. So let's get some juice in this and see if she has got twins. And she has got twins. Lovely set of twins there, round about the probably 75 day mark. Cracking set of lambs. And a bra sheep, so a good result. There you go, lass. On you go, lass. Some end on her. Look at that. Bra sheep, that. And just like that, we are finished for the day. Quite an interesting day, hopefully, for you guys. That is just standard what we are doing more or less every day just now. You'll notice the camera work was being done. I had a friend out helping with the camera work today, and I'm hoping I can do a little bit more of that, especially at the weekends throughout the scanning season, so that we can take you about a bit more and show you the things we're doing day to day. It's quite hard when I'm sitting in this trailer. I say it's hard, it's like next to impossible really for me to be getting out and filming what's going on while I'm scanning. So it'd be great if my mate here is going to come and do a little bit more of that, so that we can get better vlogs for you guys and you can really enjoy this scanning season. Where else on YouTube do you get to see behind the scenes of a sheep pregnancy scanner? Maybe there is somewhere and I don't know about it, but if there is, let me know. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this one, sheep fans. We'll see you for the next one.